Nachos amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, a music podcast where a group of friends gather together to share music with each other, an album at a time. It's a good time, fun time had by all. I'm Petey Rave, and I'm deep into my gremlin chair mode. Here with me is my team, my squad, my crew. We've got David.
Greetings and salutations. Petey, Raven, Rockstake Park. What is going on, brother?
Mm-hmm. And Drew.
What up?
We're here to talk about music. We're talking about an album finally back. We're to talk about
What do you mean? It was just a week.
Yeah. We're here to talk about some music. We're here to talk about an interesting album that I brought forth for us. We're talking about a duo of femme singer-songwriters that goes by the name of Nova Twins, hailing from the UK. And they do a very cool mix of rock, hard rock, and a few other things. We're talking about their album Supernova. David, what expectations did you have coming into this album?
Absolutely none. But when I looked them up, I saw that they were a duo of doing hip hop and alt rock together. So I was intrigued in hearing how that sounds. I know that's something kind of bubbling under the surface on the metal side of things. I know I love Poppy, of course, just to name one. So I was interested in seeing sort of a different kind of music fusion coming from today, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I was intrigued.
Mm-hmm. Drew, what expectations did you have coming into this album?
I also had never heard of this duo. I looked at the photo and I was like, oh, this is. I just saw the album cover, and the album cover gave me electronic dance pop, just because of the spacey look and the shiny outfits and all that. So I was like, oh, that's what this is gonna be. It wasn't what it was gonna be. Spoilers, but looking into it and seeing the same thing Deej did with oh, they're putting some rap rock and some punk rock and alternative and some heavy influences into it. That could be cool. I like rap infused into things from time to time if it's done well. So I was excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this album in this group, it does do precisely to that, where they mix a multitude of sounds, including rap rock, alternative rock, hard rock, and mixes it in a really really kind of cohesive way. You hear a very pointed, very fine-tuned aggression that permeates through the whole sound. The music includes a really great attitude, really great in your face aggression, that not just in the vocal performances but in the music. There's some really great chunky hard rock guitars. The instrumentals fit well together. The musicianship is on point. And the singing is fantastic. The vocal performances for what the tone and the style of the music is, it really blends well fantastically. And of course, the big part of that is how there's there's really good songwriting, and it's really good pointed songwriting that points to personal experiences and to social issues, all kind of like and how they go hand in hand. Um, and it it's all woven together uh, in a really kind of like beautiful hybrid way, and I think it's really cool to kind of like see the sound, um, and it's executed fantastically. But yeah, let me get to hear what you guys think. David, how would you describe this album musically?
I would describe this album as very in your face, very upfront, to a point where I'd almost say aggressive, I think. Musically, it is not as heavy as one might expect. It's not boom, punch you in the face metal per se. Run you over with a freight train like metal. But that's okay. It kind of sounds that's not what they were going for in the first place. There's also some occasional bits of grime and trip hop, which I absolutely love from the UK music scene. I love that stuff. So that was really interesting. I love all of that like uniquely British music. It just gives this a unique flavor that I really enjoy. Kind of like with Petey and Korea. For me, it's the UK. I'm an Anglophile that way, I guess. But that added an extra flavor that I really, really liked to all of the things that Petey said.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Drew, how would you describe this album musically?
Well, I'd agree. There is a lot of like heavy influence. Whether you want to say heavy metal influence or not, I'm not sure, but there is a lot of heavy influence. I think tonally more than compositionally or speed wise. Like the tone to me felt like almost industrial at points, like your Nine Inch Nails is
Yes.
and your Static X's.
Yes,
But my,
that's what it was more like.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Static X, and my favorite part of Nine Inch Nails was that like sort of grindy metal tone, and not necessarily like the composition. Their composition is, I think, for my money, more interesting. Um, and so to me, that was great. They are a bit more mid-tempo than that might lead you to believe. Also, the bass work in this, I think, was really, really cool. There was a lot of like groovy bass work. And so all of that mixed together, when you say there's a band that takes like metal and alt rock and punk influences and mixes metal into it, or mixes rap into it, I also don't think you're always expecting bars, but they had them. It was really like surprising to me. I wasn't like, you hear the tone at first, and then you hear the like lyrics and stuff like that. And I've said before, my favorite rap is when you can hear the person really has something they want to get off their chest. And looking at the history of this album, it was written uh, during the COVID-19 pandemic, and there was a lot of things to get off people's chests during that time. And I think that it comes through on this a lot, which I really, really dug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as we get into the key tracks, you even just in like the track names, you can see the attitude and personality of the album. When you get past the really cool intro, you get that true opening song, Antagonist, and it kind of hits you in the face right away, in a really great way, and it has this like really great sound right away, that especially with like that little cool like like at the beginning, uh but it kind of like brings out the momentum and brings out the energy right away, and it's like and the vocals are really fantastic, and the riffs are really rock solid. Um, and I think it carries over really well in Cleopatra. Um, that one has a little bit more like the electronic touches, and it has a really nice like attitude and bravado to it, really well. Also because of how many like British panel shows I've watched, I can't help but hear Cleopatra, and despite having never heard the original group, but keep saying, when it says Cleopatra, I want to say coming at you. I've never heard a single note from that group, but I have that stuck in my head because of all those.
And who is this, Petey?
Cleopatra like a girl band from the UK that was super popular at some point. I've never, like I said,
vaguely remember this.
yeah, I've never heard.
But I
them.
digress.
When he said Cleopatra coming at you, I was like, I recognize that.
Yeah,
cadence.
yeah.
Why?
Yeah, but for me, I know where it is because of I've watched like QI and Mock the Week and and all these, and then it's like at some point somebody references some pop culture, and some of that is Cleopatra coming at you. But also KMB, which has just a nice nefarious tone to it, and a nice like just a great attitude and great like sinister vibe, and musically it's fantastic. And also another one that really hits the mark is Choose Your Fighter. Like that one has just like, that one starts off with a really nice like electronic intro with like this like almost rapish intro before it kind of kicks in, and it kind of like really sets off a really nice sound. But yeah, let's go to you guys. David, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Toolbox. The intro really led into some really fun stuff, and the verses I absolutely loved. I feel like Puzzles was the track that really kind of put the whole album together. It just felt like everything kind of fit in one piece on that track. Choose Your Fighter. Really impressed because 2 minutes and 15 seconds, but they got 3 verses. Really impressive. There was the song Enemy that for a bit reminded me just a bit of Dochi. And I didn't think that was a bad thing at all. Mm-hmm. And KMB, that one, I had a very weird feeling about that one, to a point where I was kind of like, is this a little toxic? Is that song a little toxic? Sounds a little toxic. Because it gave me a little bit of a Katy Perry vibe, that one. Like, just
Oh god,
a little bit toxic.
Perry.
Yeah. But yeah. Drew, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Well, Antagonist with its like the catchy chorus, the grinding guitars, was absolutely a fantastic way to kick off. I'm not always huge on like more screamy, yelly vocals. But the way they are used here, I like them when they're used for like emphasis. And they use them in transition here for emphasis between those verses and chorus shifts, and I liked that a lot. Fire and Ice was the most doom song that's ever doom songed on an album we've listened to on this podcast. It almost has like a creepy tone in the lyrics. There's a crunch to it that's really, really cool. And then Enemy, the drum opening with this like reverby floor tom that like just shakes your eardrum, I think was really, really beautiful. I think it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Let's bring it back around the horn, talk about some conclusive thoughts. David, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
I thought it was a good album. This is their first album, yes
This
or
is,
no?
like, I think like maybe first the second album.
Second album. Okay. I guess there was something about this album production wise that just kind of felt off. That I don't know if they were trying to, and it's hard for me to describe this. It's like the music and the composition seems like it would be like an alt rock or alt metal album, but sonically it just didn't sound right. It was like someone that had never produced a rock album before doing a rock album. It just didn't feel sonically like that kind of album. Composition wise, the songs are all really, really good. They're entertaining, they're well written. The songwriting front to back is really, really solid. There was just something sonically that didn't quite click. And I go back to Poppy because whomever is producing her albums really has kind of like an explosiveness to it in her music that I think this album was missing. It feels like this isn't the most guitar forward album. And just on that alone, that kind of knocks it down a point. But overall, I thought it was a really, really enjoyable time. I just think that the production was a little weird.
Okay. Drew, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
I can see what David's talking about. It feels a bit clean at times, if that's the right way to phrase it for me. But I will say this. Peek behind the curtain. It's been a minute. And so I had
8
this
days.
one ready. I had the notes written for the first time we were supposed to come back to this. And in the weeks previous where adults things happened, in the weeks previous where we weren't sure if we were going to be able to make it or not, I went back and made sure to give it another listen, give a peek to my notes just to make sure I wasn't off base. And I was never mad about it. There was never a point where I was like, oh, God, can't we just go? Can we hit play and go and just do it already? I was always happy to go, okay, I'm giving this some more time. And I get to go back to it and listen through it a little bit again and see what's up. And I was always happy to go back. So I'm something I won't mind keeping an eye out for later.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the production like style, yeah, it is very odd, but yeah, the music is very well made. The music, it hits in a really fantastic way. And it's it blends genres really fantastically. They have a great like bravado and attitude that I think translates really well, especially for the material and for the subject matters that they approach, and for the issues they bring forward, and discuss. And it's really fantastic. They are a nice example, a great example of the evolution of what rock is now in certain parts, like what one example of what a rock sound is right now. And it's really fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it has me looking forward to the album that they have coming forward soon,
Okay.
this year, which let me see, it's butterflies, parasites and butterflies. They got coming fairly soon. I forget exactly when, but they've got it coming fairly soon. And they it gets me excited for their evolution and their style going forward. Um, and
I will say that I completely agree. Like as a style, as a band, uniquely, yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Th-
so
I'm simply saying that this was probably a fluke from my
yeah,
perspective because they're very good.
they're very good, and it's going to be really cool to see when they come at this with this. Let's see what approach they came at with in this next album. See if they came at it with a different production approach that maybe fits the sound a little bit better. But overall, really fantastic record, really diverse and beautifully blended, beautifully seasoned sound, and beautifully performed sound, and it's like beautiful chaos. Um, but yeah, let's get down to the main event, the moment we've all been waiting for, with the haiku reviews. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get gnarly. Hit him with the 575. Haiku numero uno. David, what is your haiku?
Grime rock? Sure, that's fine. Good, but not quite heavy. Next album, hopeful.
Drew, what is your haiku?
From London with love. To be fair, also anger. But I understand.
Mm-hmm. And my haiku: sisters in spirit bring hard rock with attitude and kill their boyfriends. In game.
Allegedly.
In Minecraft. Those are our thoughts on Nova Twins Supernova. And I will say this: I am in the process of I'm not using Spotify anymore, so I won't be updating the Spotify playlist, at least on myself. But I will still be updating the YouTube playlist, so you can find this album. I think you can still find it on the Spotify playlist if you're still over there.
Thank you for reminding me, Petey.
Yeah, on the YouTube playlist. And I'll see where else I decide to make, if I decide to make another playlist. But at the very least, we always have the YouTube playlists available to you on those playlists. On those playlists will be next week's record, and that is provided by David. David, what do you got for us?
Drew, Petey, you're probably already sick of me talking about this group, but I think it's time I introduce them to the Record Breakers audience. It's very rare where I can hear a band and hear an album that makes me say, this is the best thing I've heard since the best thing I've ever heard. And that goes all the way back to Million Town by Frost from 2006 in this particular genre. And lo and behold, this band from England, Kairos, was recommended to me through our prog metal, and they had the listing of for fans of Frost. And then when I heard one of their first songs, it was perfect. It was amazing. The best way I can describe them is if Dream Theater and Tears for Fears had a baby,
Okay.
her name would be Shelby.
Yes.
This band is called Kairos. They are the best thing I've heard in 20 years. And we're talking about their album, Mannequin.
Hi, Ross. Mannequin. But yeah, look forward to that. That'll be then. And this is now. And you can, of course, find us all over the internet. Rebellion.net, recordbreakerscast.com, Rebelli TV on YouTube. You can also go catch our streams of all of our other streams of Rebelli TV on Twitch, including pretty soon our new season of GM mode, and I'm going to try to get more streams going in the near future. But look forward to that. Check out all of our check us out everywhere you find podcasts. You'll still find us over there on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. I forget where it still has podcasts and where it doesn't, but find us where you find podcasts.
We've been doing this a long time, boys.
Oh yeah. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Until next time, hasta los huevos. Bye bye.
Oh, bye bye.
Fighting.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.